Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a nice Sunday. Um, this comes randomly, as I generally don't do an afternoon live stream, but here we are, and I imagine um, everyone's out either with family or doing running errands of their own in some ways, or uh, doing something productive. I'm having a nice chill Sunday here after an eventful Saturday yesterday, running around, going to card shows and shops with B Roth. So this vintage chill and chat hobby talk is kind of going in, you know, will go in a variety of directions. um, there's a number of questions that I ask myself or I think about sometimes. Why, what is it about collecting that I really enjoy? What is everyone has their own story. Everybody has their own outlook on things. I enjoy collecting because it really started for me in card shows. I love card shows. I love the atmosphere. I love the energy. I love the buzz. And I love being able to kind of go walk around the room and being excited about what I may find that day. And this was, pre-internet days. You go to your card shop or card show, and it's just like you have butterflies in good ways at the pit of your stomach because you're excited and you're looking forward to, what you're going to find. So now there's so many outlets to buy cards that it's not as one-sided anymore of going to your shop or going to a show. You have all the internet options, you have the auction houses, you have social media, message boards, forums, text messaging, uh, trading happening all the time, and things are being bought and sold in split seconds. And it's great to know that card shows and uh, shops are still going strong. I go to a ton of shows and I see how busy they are, and that's encouraging. And going to some of the bigger shows is a way to connect with other people that are in the hobby that you don't get to see too often. So it's always a nice thing to see people you haven't seen in a while. One second, let me just drink some water. Leave this open. The bond that we all have here is that at the center of everything is here on YouTube, or the center of what we, of uh, collectors that have channels is subscribing to each other and being able to watch each other's videos and to kind of be kept up to date with what's happening, what people are collecting, what everyone is looking to add to their collection. Um, and that's for all intent and purposes. It's great, and I look forward to seeing what people are picking up. And I'm kind of getting lost in in my train of thought. Let's go back to what I was saying before. Why do I love collecting? So, as a kid, I would go to the White Plains County Center shows, Gloria Rothstein shows at the time when she was running things. My dad used to set up there in the 90s, not with cards. My dad was never in the hobby, not in that way. My dad had these T-shirts that he made in the '90s that, if they were sold now, would do really, really well, but at the time, just didn't really have much, uh, didn't really have much backing to it, I guess you could say. But now it's a completely different. I mean, people are, as when it comes to, um, like '90s fashion and stuff. Like, at least my wife tells me that's kind of the direction that people are heading in. And so, I mean, old labeled T-shirts like the Oneida tagged T-shirts, which my dad's T-shirts that he made, those were Oneida tags, and um, they they do really well. And so, didn't my in the '90s, my they didn't really do very well, but now they would. And but nevertheless, I remember going to the shows and walking around as a kid. Maybe I had $20, something like that, and I just remember going from case to case, seeing, the players that I really liked at the time were, the Donruss '87 cards were always something I really enjoyed. I mean, this was the peak years of pitchers like Greg Maddux, um, Mark McGuire. Trying to think who else was included. Todd Helton. Um, I mean, there's a number of big names. Barry Bonds, and like these Donruss '87 cards would, like the rated rookies. They used to sell for a lot compared to today. I mean, a Donruss '87 rated rookie McGuire is $1. Maddox is $1. You can get those in dollar boxes. But it's amazing how much they were back then, and how my $20 for cards like that would not go very far. You would have, um, like the Olympic card sold for over $100. So, but I do recall times where my dad stepped in and he bought like a '69 Seaver card. And again, my dad is not, I mean, now he is through what whenever we talk, about the hobby stuff, and he's become well versed in it because I talk about it with him a lot. But, at the time when he was buying this card, I mean, he didn't know, I don't think he really understood, like, oh, if it's off center, it's, versus centered or sharp or not sharp or whatever. Um, my dad bought me a '69 Seaver Tops, uh, uh, card that was like miscut entirely, and I think you could see the part of the next card over. Um, and I've had it for a long time. And when I got out of the hobby, or close to getting out of the hobby, when maybe when I was like, I don't know, 14, 15 years old, I gave that card to my sister. And it wasn't until I got back into the hobby again in 2020 when my sister gave it back to me. She said, "Hey, I still have this card if you still want it back." And I couldn't believe it was the same card. No sleeve, no top loader, just, in its raw form entirely. Um, but whenever I talk about the hobby with my mom, she always says she loves reminiscing about stories repeatedly over this, like the same thing over and over again. And it's okay because I don't mind. I'm used to it by now. But she would talk about how, like, I drop you off on Friday and drop you off at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You'd stay there till 7. I'd come pick you up, and then the next morning I'd drop you off at 10. I'd pick you up at 5 or 6, whenever they would. It might have been 5 at that time. Then on Sunday I'd drop you off at 10, come back at 5. And granted, like, the card shows, like, if the entry fee was what it was now, it's just like $15 for every day. I don't think my mom would agree to, give me money to pay the entry fee. I think at that time in the '90s, it was probably, I don't know, maybe $3 to $5 per day. So it wasn't as much as it is now. It's clearly tripled in price, but we're not here to talk about economics. Um, but it was fun. I just remember, I didn't really have much money in my pocket, and I would go by myself. I'd be 11 or 12 years old, and uh, I would just walk the floor by myself and get a real big kick out of it. And I don't I probably maybe I bought a I was probably at the time dollar box buying. I remember being really big into the Denver Broncos and buying a crap ton of Terrell Davis cards, which I still have. I have a ton of Terrell Davis cards. I was a big Terrell Davis fan. Todd Helton was my guy, so I had a lot of Todd Helton cards and McGuire cards when he was with the Cardinals. Barry Bonds. With the Giants, and maybe some Pirate stuff too. But it was like just I don't think I don't think I have the Terrell Davis cards, but I don't think I have the McGuire Cardinals cards anymore. But a lot of the stuff was like you know like late '90s stuff. Makes me wonder. But that's to me was like the memories. I think is why I love collecting, and what got me back into it was the memories. And really, it's a lot of people that we see in this hobby have connections with generations in their family. Their dad were collectors, and it kind of passed on. And um, I don't necessarily have that connection. I think a lot of it was really kind of a solo venture for me to get into it as a kid, and then getting back into it as an adult. Um, so I don't really have that story to connect, but it's a combination. I think everybody has a story as far as why they collect and what drives them. And for me, it's the stories and the memories. Um, I still kind of share that same enthusiasm and feelings about card shows as I did when I was 11 and 12 years old. When I go to a card show, I really just I look forward to walking the floor and seeing all the different tables. And you start like now as an adult and doing the card shows so many times, and not only being like a walking the floor, but also you know setting up at shows as well. You see things from all sides and all perspectives, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and I'm thrilled that card shows are still a driving force in this hobby. And I always look forward to seeing the card show videos that people share, uh, and I really love that others have adopted um, the technique in displaying dealers' information at shows, because it's one thing to show the cards, but it's another thing to share the dealer's information so that others can enjoy and appreciate, and potentially purchase and buy something that's on a table. Because like today, I was sent a video by a fellow collector who has a channel here. Um, I'm going to butcher the name, Shoshawana, I think is the card show name in Indiana. And I was able to see this video of cards that were shown, and one of the cards was something that I was thinking about getting. And we struck a deal on a card, which I will share in probably the next week or so when it comes in. But I absolutely love it. I think and you think about the many people who don't have the access to card shows, like in the Midwest. And you go into middle America, card shows are not really happening too often, so you're only left with the option of buying on social media platforms, eBay. um, that's kind of what you're left with. And so it becomes art. Those card show videos do become important and become a very crucial access point for being able to kind of understand what things are selling for, or what cards, what the asking prices on cards. Um, so you get to kind of have a unique perspective that way. So uh, yeah, I'm obviously, I mean, tonight I'm doing a live stream at 9 p.m. This is just kind of a hangout session for me to just to hang out with you guys. And it looks like we got a good amount of people here. So I appreciate everybody who's come in to hang out. Um, So yeah, so um, really, just there's a lot to look forward to. For those that are going to Strongsville, I'm really anticipating Strongsville to be a lot busier than last year. I think last year being the breaking point, it was my first time going, but it was the first year that they, it, what's the word? It was the first year that they expanded from the Best Western, I guess you can call it a banquet ballroom, to a full sized ice rink. Obviously, no ice, but um, really, that's a huge expansion. You're going from maybe a 75 table to three or to a 300-400 table. I don't know what it is, what the dimensions are, but I imagine it's um, something along the lines of that. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. You're stepping up from you're really you're stepping up from a size of a regional show to a like a nationally sized show. I'm not going to say it's like the national, because the national is obviously the biggest card show in the country. But you have shows like the Philly show, the White Plains show. But what makes Strongsville unique is again is that it's purely a vintage frontage show, and it brings out collectors of from all courses, from all over the country, maybe even the world. I don't know. But it was fun. I mean, last year, it was great to uh, see a bunch of people that I've never met before. I was introduced to a number of people. A number of people came up to me, and I was that was that was interesting. That was fun. I mean, it was good. It's one of those things you just don't really, you never really kind of expect to happen, but it was great. It was great to meet people that watch the channel, um, and so going back to what I was saying, I think that this year is going to be a considerably large. I mean, same size dimension wise. I don't know if they're opening up more space. I thought I've heard that they were, but I might be off on that. But as far as foot traffic, I think we're going to see an uptick in foot traffic, and I think definitely that's a good thing. It's a really good thing. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, the For Collectors channel, we're hosting our trade night on Saturday, and we're really looking forward to that. A lot of work has been put into that. So it's just gonna be nonstop fun from the start of the show to the end of the show, and then trade night going after. So that's gonna be fun. I'm just gonna see who's in the chat, because obviously I have not acknowledged everybody here yet. So Brian, thank you so much. Good to have you here. Scott from Reindeer Studios, good to have you here, buddy. WVogs 18. I haven't gotten your name, buddy. But if you want to share in the chat, you can. But hello, WVogs 18. Litzy Sports Cards. Weird seeing Alan Daylight. Yeah, it's a little unusual. Sports Card Queen. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Um, Lenny is here from Cardcast. Good to have you here, Lenny. Eddie is here. Pastor Craig is here. Reese is here. Yeah, Mookie, big surprise. Good to have you here, buddy. The Big Six. Let's see. eBay is here. That's cool. Triple V, what's up, buddy? John is here and gone fishing. What's up? Munson Trout Collector. It sounds like you're working right now, but no more watching lives for me at work. That's it. Oh, you're not working. Right? Hate my job. Got too busy. No more watching live. Yeah, I got to sneak them in somehow, I guess. David Chase is here. Johnny D with the baseball emoji. Theo is here, so we were just talking about you, Theo. James, what's up, buddy? Good to have you here. And Stephen with a PH is here. So I have caught up with the chat. That is excellent. That is excellent. So what I'm going to do, because I kind of want to establish this as kind of a hangout. So I'm leaving it open. If anybody wants to jump in, they can. I'm putting the link in the chat right now. If you guys want to jump in, I'll bring you guys in. Just expand the conversation. If anybody wants to jump in, they can. But in the meantime, I plan on putting out a video. It's going to take a little time. Don't worry. I'm getting text messages from Stephen with a PH. No problem, buddy. I see you're in the chat, so you're good. So my plan is to go full. Thanks. What the heck? Okay. My watch is talking to me. So my plan is to go full on Mathewson going forward. Unless I find these like rarity, like the super stand-up of Tom Seaver, which it's like a unicorn. Can't find those anywhere. It's impossible. I've only seen them in pictures. I've never seen them. I've never seen them in person. Just absolutely impossible. eBay's asking, do you find the vintage collectors are more older people that grew up collecting or younger people that are just old souls? I'm guessing DQ is disqualify younger flippers. They don't count. Vintage collectors are more older people that grew up collecting or younger. I'll tell you what, when I look at my analytics and I'm seeing who's watching my channel, like the age group, I would say the majority are some of the older folks. Some are like on the older age than like someone who's in their 20s. I might have maybe 5% people watching, and anyone between like 30 and 40, maybe 8 to 10%. I would say predominantly I would have majority of people watching are like in their 40s to 60s. I would say are the majority of people that are watching. I would say that's the bulk of it. So I mean, I'm not saying that's the perfect answer because I don't think it is, because everybody's channel might be different. But that's a question probably left to ask a number of different channels to see what their analytics look like. I'm thinking about it now, and I would probably say that the majority of people that are collecting are probably between 40 and 60, if I had to guess, but that's just a wild guess. So we have a stooge who decided to jump on. What's up, Steven?
Hey, Sammy, how you doing, pal?
Oh, man, that beard, man. What happened to you?
Do that, eh?
Why are you stealing my style, but dyeing it white?
I don't know what happened, but it won't be on for much longer. It's going to get warmer soon.
It's too cold in Canada, right? That's why
exactly,
I have it?
Exactly why.
Good to have you here, buddy.
Oh, always good talking to you, Sammy.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just hanging out. I decided to do this afternoon thing, just to, whatever, hang out. Because, I was having a very chill day today. There were a number of card shows that were happening, but, but I figured, just hang out and see who's online. And I guess we had 35 people watching. That's pretty amazing.
Nice. I just got home from the gym and I put on flipped on the YouTube and I seen you were here and I thought, you know what? You started talking about Strongsville. I thought I'd jump on if you had me, and I'm happy I did.
Yeah, I'd leave it open to anybody that wants to jump in. So you can have as many as 6 people in here.
Nice, nice.
So I hear you're
So
driving. I was listening to Garrett, Card Cutter, today, and he says that you're driving down with Canadian cards.
yes, yes. So it's I haven't seen Garrett's thing yet this morning. I was talking to him a bit ago, but Mike and I and Garrett are staying together, I guess, this year. We're driving down. I believe it's early Friday morning.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if Mike wants to go Thursday. I'm all in. Um, it all depend all depends what's going on, but I tell you, I'm looking forward to it. The one thing that's I wouldn't say a downer, but the unfortunate part is the our dollar is taking a dive, and it's going to cost me a lot
Oh.
more money to buy American money this year. So it's
Ah,
really a struggle. It makes it tough. Like just to give you an example, if I'm looking at a Jackie Robinson this year, which that was the card I'm going for,
yeah.
unfortunately, and I was planning around 10 grand. Unfortunately, that's going to be 15 Canadian,
Wow.
and that makes it very difficult for me.
So is
So
it so it's a dollar, it's like a Canadian dollar 50 to $1 US.
yes,
Oh,
yes. So
nice.
so I may be a little hesitant pulling the trigger this year with where it's at, and you just don't know what you're going to come across. I'm
Yeah.
looking. I'm looking forward to going down, and you don't know what's going to happen, right?
Right. Right.
So, but
Yeah, I hear that. I don't know. I feel as though if if there's a way to make it happen, you're the person to do it. So
yeah, I'm gonna try and I really looking forward to it. Uh, that's the card that I really want to get first and foremost. But
yeah.
if it's not available at somewhere where I can make it happen, I'm sure there'll be a few other ones, little smaller fishes possibly that I don't have yet that I can add to it. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like I watched Orlando's video he did from Fort Lauderdale yesterday, and there was a 1947 bond bred of Jackie Robinson, the 12 pack they had, or the 12 of them where he's sliding. I believe the guy had a sticker on it for 5,500. Now that's one that I'd be looking for too, depending on where it's at, the price point.
Mhm. How much do they generally go for?
Well, I think he was a little high. I mean, they're tough to come across, Sammy. You don't see them very often. So, I mean, I'd be looking anywhere between 4 and 45. I'd be willing to go. I think
Mhm.
55 is still a little high, even though it's a good, it's a card that you don't see very often. And it wasn't a bad looking card, at least on the video.
So eBay has a question for you. He goes, "Are vintage OPs, OPG cards pre 1979 more plentiful at Canadian shows? They are scarce down here. You find hockey, but not much baseball."
Yeah, OPG, you can find some of the mid 80s, like 83, 80. It seems like 83 and up, they're a little bit more plentiful, but anything 82 and down,
Hmm.
you don't see very often. You really don't. You got to cherry pick. You see the odd time here and there, but it's amazing. I see 83 and up, but I don't see much below 83. So
So,
it's
how much? But when you do see them, how are they priced? Are they? Would you say
uh,
they're priced in a similar way to how we see them in the United States?
No, you can get some fairly decent pricing up here for the OPG because I don't think they sell a lot up here. And I mean, I'll be honest, for me to pick up some OPG and bring down there, you guys be very happy if I did that because I think it'd be good pricing for you guys depending on the cards you want, like star cards, especially, right? I mean, I've been fortunate the odd time I've picked up one here and there. Um, very seldom do you see very much 60s. I've picked up the odd 60, Bob Gibson, 67, I think it was, and stuff like that for, $80 Canadian, which is say 60, $50 American. And I think I did a video on a, SGC reveal of 8 or 9 cards I picked up from, and sent in for grading at SGC, and they came back pretty decent. And they were star cards such as Smith and Johnny Bench and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So and those aren't bad, but you just don't see it very often.
It's funny. We were when I was with Brian yesterday. We were driving around, and he picked up a Willie Mays OPG at one
So
of
I
the
heard
shops
that
we went to.
video. Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard that video. I heard him talking in the video about did the dealer have any more OPG?
hmm Yeah. So he picked up the Mays, and we were looking online to see how much they're going for. I don't really pay much attention to a lot of the OPG stuff, but when he was looking online to see what they're like a 3 and a 4 were going for, it was pretty incredible how much they sell for. I know the Mays is considered a high number, so there's that.
Yes.
Um, but it's incredible. They really go for a lot of money, and when they're graded.
If you get some of the stars, especially from the 60s, and they look pretty decent, they're nice cards. They are
Mhm.
really nice card, and as they should go for a reasonable price because from the perspective of accounts, there's so much less than what the tops versions are. So it's
Mhm.
if you can find those older versions of OPG, I mean they're steals right now.
So I feel like I'm being outnumbered now. We got one new established white beard, and now we have another white beard.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Now I'm being bullied. Good to
That's
have you here, Scott.
that's why I'm here.
I
Yeah.
figured I figured this is kind of like a drive by, and you're gonna leave in like 5 minutes after telling me.
Scott,
How
how
you
you doing,
doing?
pal?
I'm good, Steven. How are you, buddy?
Very good, very good. I got my hat on, my friend.
You're looking good.
How are things with you, Scott? Since we last saw each other at the beginning of the month, last
Right.
month.
Things are good. No complaints.
How the and t-shirt business going strong?
Yeah, getting orders.
Are you gonna? I'm. So you're gonna be. I mean, you're obviously gonna be at Strongsville because you live
Right.
right around the corner. But
hmm
um, are you? I know you're setting up with us for the trade night.
Right.
Are you also doing something with Chris the night before?
I should have my stuff in there too.
That's great. Um, and that's. I mean, as far as like setting up for your shirts and
hmm
other. I mean, your artwork and your shirts. Um, those two events. You're not going to be on like the main floor for the show.
No.
Okay. But yeah, I'm looking forward to both events.
Yeah.
I remember when last month your setup was incredible. The artwork, the art pieces, it's just phenomenal, and I can't really find the words to say, but it's when you if you buy one of your if anyone buys one of your pieces, you're getting something uniquely special.
Aw.
And yeah, that's just wanted to address that because I mean, was it like the T205 art pieces that you were doing?
hmm
And, and Stevens, yeah, Stevens displaying the card.
Remember that one, Scott?
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, it's right in my drawer, right beside me.
I think I only have one of those left.
It's a beauty. I tell you, I look at it every day when I open my drawer.
Nice.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Me both came to obviously both came to Strongsville last year, and
hmm
it was the year where they moved from the banquet ballroom to the ice arena. Um, and it was there was a very strong good turnout, a very
Right.
strong turnout, no pun intended. Do you feel as though with the hype and the anticipation and that it's going to be growing even more so this year?
Um, quite possibly. There's no way to know for sure for me, but like, yeah, I think people are getting really excited about the show, and we've been talking about it all year.
What do you think, Steve?
Well, I think it's going to be much larger. I think the community has gone in even so much more than last year. How much you see outside the community, how much greater is will be a little uptick, I think. But I think from a perspective of the community, I mean, just from the Friday, Saturday nights, I think are going to be super large. It's going to be really packed. Um, I think the show has uh, garnished a ton of respect, which is from the community, which is very important. Hence, why I think the show is from what I understand, is joining up with obviously the four collectors, and Orlando's got the media pass where he's going to be doing a bunch of stuff. I just think it's going in the right direction, and who knows, who really truly knows how crowded it's going to be. I think it could be crowded.
It's funny. I mean, I think it's going to be very busy as well. I agree with you, Stephen. I think there's going to be a lot of foot traffic. I think there's a lot of excitement surrounding it. But it just made me think about uh, times where I'm at a show and I'd be talking to another person at the show, and I was saying like, oh, there's so many great shows. I mentioned the Philly show, and they say, oh yeah, no, the Philly show is great. And I'd say Strongsville, and they kind of look at me like, what's at Strongsville? And
Hmm.
so it's it's uh it's interesting because I explained it to them. I said, if you're a lover of vintage and you want to go just to explore a purely a vintage show, then that is the one to go to.
Hmm.
It will just it will go beyond your expectations, I think. And they're like, "Huh, that's great. I never didn't even know about that." And so we plant seeds here and there. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I mean, for somebody like yourself, Scott, that lives in Ohio, Strongsville, is it considered amongst the Ohio collectors kind of like an established place that vintage collectors knew about years and years and years, and just you know um, that it's not something new, I guess.
Right. It's not new at all. I guess it's oldest like
Hmm.
vintage only card show in the country.
Yeah. Yep. I am Sammy Appleseed. That is correct. I'm planting seeds. uh, and that is, yeah, that is the case. I'm seeing, yeah, Keith from Vintage Sports Flips. He was talking about the Philly show that is happening this upcoming weekend.
Hmm.
Stephen, you've gone.
I
Scott,
love it.
you haven't gone yet, right?
I haven't, and I really want to.
Mhm. Hey, Sammy.
Yes.
I think I'm not. I'm up in the air this year with the national, only because uh, I'm interested in possibly going again to either Philly, going to the White Plains, or possibly the Chicago Spectacular in the fall. Try something different again.
Hmm.
So if I don't go to the national this year, my plan is to do one of the other three possibly in the fall.
Hmm.
So that's why, I mean, Strongsville is a guaranteed every year for me because without a doubt, it is. I can go there and see everyone, and that's what it's mainly about for the most part for me now. I mean, if I pick up a good card, that's wonderful. But
Hmm.
I really enjoyed the time I went to Philadelphia, and I feel I would have a better idea this time around. I mean, I met you at Philly for the first time ever, and
Hmm.
it was just wonderful meeting you there. I mean, we hung out for a little bit, and it's a it's a great show. It really is. I mean, there's some modern stuff like that, but all the big boys are there for the most part with the vintage part of it. So that's obviously an interest for me. But I also, the White Plains or even the Shriners could be one of those other shows instead of, because I've been to the National 3 times, obviously twice in Cleveland, Atlantic City, never been to Chicago yet. But if I don't make it this year, one of those other three are what I'm looking for in the fall.
Those are good shows. The Philly show to me is still the favorite for me.
Mhm.
Outside of Strongsville and the National. The Philly show to me, I don't know what it is. I think it's easier to navigate, and it
Yes.
feels like it's just a much larger space. So you have a
Mhm.
much more variety of dealers there. Like I mean, I'm the kind of person that likes to see some unusual off-brand stuff, and so there's like a
Mhm.
dealer there that had cases of like old schedules and scorecards and
Yes.
and dare I say transograms or Flair 91, um, and figurine like old vintage figurines from the 50s. You have that sort of stuff at Philly. You have guys that sell bobbleheads at Philly. You have and I've this guys that sell what is it what I'm looking for? I can't think of it, but you get what I'm saying. Is that I don't really get that at the White Plains show that much. There are
Mhm.
a couple of guys that do that, but the Philly show is uniquely special, I think, in that way.
Mhm.
You get a taste of really everything. That if you're a vintage collector, there really is a little bit of everything. And I know that's loosely said for majority of the time, but I truly mean that. That show to me is gives you the variety that you want.
Yeah, I agree, Sammy. I when I went there, uh, it was a spur of the moment that I went. I decided 2 weeks before I was going to go that I decided to go. I ended up staying at a small hotel in Phoenixville, just only like a 10-minute drive to the show, which was wonderful. I thought the traffic was inside was even though it was busy, it seemed like there was the aisleways were spaced out enough that you had plenty of opportunity of not bumping into people. I mean, I thought the whole setup of Philly, like, and that was back in September 2023, and I thought it was spectacular. I mean, I there was a good variety of stuff, like you said. I picked up a couple things that I've seen nowhere else, and it was it's a show I definitely would like to go back to. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean the thing about it is that I mean, so here's where I think it becomes a debatable topic. Is why do I need to go to the Philly show when I can go to Strongsville and see these same exact 5 or 6 big
Hmm.
dealers, or why do I need to go to? You could say vice versa. It can go either
Mhm.
way. So yes, that's true, and I think a lot of people. I've had conversations with people about that. It's like, well, I would say, "Hey, you going to Strongsville?" And they're like, no, I don't need to. I don't need to go to Strongsville because I'll go to Philly, and
Hmm.
I'll get I'll see the same exact dealers that I would if I were to go to Strongsville. There's no now. Granted, I know you brought this up before. It's not just about going to buy the cards and going to see these dealers. It's also hanging out and seeing a bunch of people. There's always the pie is cut in certain ways. But to go back to the card in particular, the Philly show, what I loved about the Philly show is that you never know what you're going to find, and I've talked about this a lot. But the card that I always harp about. Hold on a sec. I got to move the receiver over just a little bit. It's falling over. It's falling over. I can't let the board game fall. Okay, I think we're good. So I always talk about this, and it's when I found when I found the Willie Mays Hires Root Beer test, it wasn't from one of the large, like the major dealers.
Hmm.
It was from one of the smaller dealers that was set up there, and to me, that's really special. And I love discovering stuff like that of finding a massive card at a smaller table, because again, it's like I know that this dealer is uniquely special to Philly because I don't think he sets up at the White Plains. I've never seen him set up at Strongsville, at Shriners. So I know where he is, and I've become established with a new dealer that way.
So it's Phillies. That's 3 times a year, right?
3 times, yeah.
Mhm.
September, December, and March.
Yes.
So when does Scott find time to draw?
I'm taking the day off today, Mike. It's the weekend.
It's the weekend.
Well,
Sunday's
Sammy,
Sunday's a resting day.
Sammy, when you said about the Philly and the show of the smaller guys that you don't see much and how you picked that maze up, so true. I think the difference from my perspective is I believe that the Philly show was spectacular, like I've said, but the one thing, the reason Strongsville will always be on my card is because of what transpired last year. Even the first year I went, the year before last year, I obviously met Scott, and I met Don Field of Dreams, and Chris from Missouri, and Eric was there for Leaf. We met him on the Friday night, but the Saturday night we kind of hung out. Scott and Mike, Canadian Cards, and Don, and there was a couple, and Chris. We ended up going out to the hotel, out for dinner that Saturday night, but it was kind of small. I mean, there were some other YouTube contents like Josh, from Stodem, Jay Stoudemire was there during a couple other guys during the 2023 thing. But last year, really, outside of, this is my opinion, outside of the national, it seems like it's the next big thing for the YouTube community as of now, where there seems to be like a gathering. And so for people who are unavailable or unable to make it to the national, Strongsville is the next best thing, I believe, from that perspective. I mean, the hospitality, how they people just flocked there from the group last year, from the community, and that was a great, fabulous time. When you talk about it, the proximity of everyone inside the hall or the rink, just everything about it. People can hook up and take off, go for lunch for an hour, come back, and it's not as if getting in and out like the national could take you 2 hours. I mean, Strongsville has everything there, and from my perspective, if you are a vintage guy or vintage cards, or the community is what you are about, I believe the best show a year is Strongsville from that perspective, in my opinion. So, I mean, outside of the national, and the national's huge, don't get me wrong, it's huge, but Strongsville's really almost like, compared to the old ma and pa shops, compared to now the big conglomerates like Walmart. Strongsville's been like that. And Scott, you've been going for many years, and it seems like it's even so much bigger than it was probably 4 years ago when you went there.
It really blew up last year as far as
so, I mean, if it stays something like that, with a little bit bigger and growing a little bit each year, that is definitely the one show. If I can only go to one show, that's the show I'm going.
I mean, everyone is in the chat is like saying you're preaching the truth. Craig is saying you're preaching the truth, and Theo is on board with what you're saying as well. Mike is asking now, how many tables at Strongsville? I estimated last year was like 200 to 300, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Does it do any? I guess we can look it up and find out.
What say 150 maybe?
I thought it was more. Because there was 3 aisles. It was like 3 aisles, but they were long.
But some people had a few extra tables, right? So how many dealers?
Yeah, that's a question for the website.
Yeah.
I would say, Mike, the best thing to do is, I mean, I can look it up right now. I'm sure we can all look it up on our phones, but let's see. You know what? You faster on my computer, but I feel like if I do it on my computer's been acting up lately. And if the processing memory is going to slow everything down to a crawl. Let's see. Strongsville.
I'm not seeing number of dealers, but there's a dealer list, and it's pretty big.
Yeah, the dealer list only looks like between 100 and 150, I thought.
So Dan is saying about 150 at Strongsville.
Yeah.
So that's what he's mentioning here. Nevertheless, exciting stuff, man. Stuff.
It's again, I rave about it. It's the one thing I get excited all the time. Once it's over, I can't wait for the following year. And again, I mean, I think the individuals that set up there, the dealers, you do see a variety of guys I haven't seen elsewhere from Philly and the national. But again, I mean, that's just me. That other people may see or recognize people more than what I do. I just think it's the part of seeing the people. I mean, that's what has really captured me the last couple of years, is that this community, the hanging out. I mean, just talking to people on the phone every once in a while. I mean, it's just wonderful. It really is. And the show, seeing everyone there, and it seems like it's the timeline too, in my opinion. I mean, the national, you can go for 5 days, and don't get me wrong, it's wonderful.
It
But
wipes you out.
this is a couple days. It seems compact. It seems that you get enough, you can get in and out, and it makes it seems convenient for me.
Yeah.
I just love it. I think it's awesome that you get there. You got 2 good solid days, and then you get back home, get back into your life, but it's 2 days. It's 2 to 3 days of pleasure, and it seems that it's easy to pull off every year.
And maybe I would say I'm absolutely right.
It seems to me.
Oh, go ahead, Scott.
It seems to me like you get to spend like better quality time with the people that are there too.
Yes.
Where the national, you like see somebody in passing, you're like, okay, and that's about it sometimes. And
yes, because there's so much to see at the national.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Scott.
Yeah, and then at the end of the show, we all go back to the same watering hole.
Yeah.
Which is the Best Western Bar.
Yeah. No,
the bartender, she was very nice. She did a good job. She tried to, handle the amount of drunkards that were buying up all the liquor in the cabinets. But no, it's going to be great. I think all the with the event last year with Chris had the kind of like the business meeting room. Now it's going to be opened up and expanded to the much bigger ballroom, and I don't know the logistics quite yet. I think we have most of the ballroom, and I think we have an additional room as well for the trading night. That will be discussed further along as time gets closer. But what is Mookie saying? What is this thing? You speak of quality time. Leave it to Mookie to misinterpret everything. But Scott, are you going? I mean, you're coming obviously to Strongsville. So, is there anything on your radar that you're maybe thinking about? Like, I'm hoping to find.
All my budget's pretty much going to go to one card, and we're going to keep that a secret for now. But
yes,
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll ask you a question offline about that.
All right.
So let's see. Dan is saying his favorite part of Strongsville is when the hotel clerk who checks you in and gives you the worst room in the hotel then steals me. I was hoping. I don't know if he's going. I can't recall if he's going or not. Don from the show and me. I'm hoping he is going, but I can't recall if he said he was.
I don't remember.
But he jokingly said that he was going to make a T-shirt with the guy's face with the guy's prison photo on the front, and something on the back. It's I forget what it was, but it was really funny. Let's see. John says, "I'm definitely looking for more time with people. Most folks at the National I only get to see at the gathering, so I had a few hours to talk to 300, the equivalent of 300 people. So, yeah, that was pretty monstrous at that YouTube gathering at the National.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like from last year, we'd all go for breakfast in the Best Western's breakfast room. I guess they had there. Am I thinking of the same place? Yeah, they had.
Yes, they have just a continental type thing.
Yeah, I'm just hoping I wasn't confusing it with the National, but no, I don't think I am, because we all stay in the same place. So we have breakfast, and then we'd all meet in the lobby after. I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that a free breakfast? Don't say
No,
it.
you know
Yeah.
what? Maybe I'm confusing it with the National because I think in Chicago there was at one of the hotels because one of the hotels. Yeah, I think I'm lost in the sauce here. Forget
Yeah,
what
in
I'm.
the Cleveland, the Best Western was a free breakfast. You can go down and they would have just the
There was a
typical.
breakfast room, right?
Yes,
There
yeah,
definitely was.
just
Okay,
yes, it was. Yes, and
I
you would
couldn't
just
That's
remember. Yeah.
yeah, that's worth the trip
sausage
right
and
there.
eggs. Yeah, it's a free breakfast. It's included with your hotel room.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, no. Theo's saying we ate breakfast in our hotel. Okay. Yeah. There's too many. There's too many. Yeah. Too many hotels and trying to keep track of what does what. But yes, we don't. But nevertheless, we'd all meet in the lobby. Like because I think everyone was kind of excited and just couldn't wait.
yes.
And then we'd end up being there. We'd end up meeting in the lobby like an hour and a half beforehand or so. And I just
Plus outside the arena,
yeah,
inside waiting to get in.
exactly. Um, but I just remember like the first day there were people that were gonna like that were going to head down in line and potentially wait outside. It was like a 30-degree day and it was
Mhm.
cold, really cold. And I'm thinking like I'm thinking, man, that's dedication. I think I'll wait for a little bit before because I don't want to wait. I don't want to stand outside in a t-shirt.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of
as
silly.
long as you're in line inside's okay.
Yeah. Apparently Chris is making breakfast for everybody, the mayor, so making his mark, I guess. That'd be nice.
hmm
I wonder what's going to be served on a daily basis. But
So, Sammy, I didn't ask you after the Net 54 show. I know you had your back spasms. Did you have like Warren and I had the flu after that show?
uh-huh.
Did
Oh,
you get through that?
I did. Yeah. Well, I ended up going to the emergency room that night.
Yeah.
Because my back was so bad. I was having like just really the back spasms were so bad that I really couldn't move very well. And so I was like, I can't wait until morning to go to an urgent care. And it was honestly, in hindsight, I probably should have just waited, or I should have gotten some like ibuprofen or Tylenol or something, and
hmm
should have just got an ice pack or something and just
Mhm.
try to wait it out. But ended up going to the emergency room, and it sucked because I don't know, Maryland. There's something about Maryland ERs that are they're from what analysts have said they're the worst in the country.
Wow.
I waited all night to see somebody, and it was awful, absolutely awful. But came out on the other side of that, and it's much better now. And I am doing everything I can to strengthen my back by doing a variety of different exercises all the time. So not a good thing for someone like I'm 38 going on 39. There's no reason for me to have back spasms at this age right now. But it definitely, the ER it costed me a lot of money. It costed me card money, put it that way.
Ouch. Well, take care of yourself, Sammy.
Of
Well,
course. I
was
am.
it was it because you were on your feet all day, or did anything make any sense? Why?
So I tweaked it on that Friday, the day before. I tweaked it. I was lifting something and I tweaked it. And so I've had back spasms before, so I didn't really think much of it. I was like, all right, it's tweaked. I can feel it, but it wasn't like, oh my God, this is something I can't move. I was able to function for the rest of the day, but then it just progressively got worse.
Mhm.
And when I got to the Net 54 show, it was, I was able to, walk fine and I felt it, but it wasn't, I didn't have to sit down or anything. Um, it wasn't, yeah. So it just, but then it just got really bad. And my wife said, oh, I regret, we should have gone to a CVS. We should have gotten an ice pack and all
Mhm.
these what ifs. But
Mhm.
um, honestly, like I was concerned at that point. I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe this is not a back spasm. Maybe it's more of like something internal going on. And I can't just sit on this. And my anxiety started going through the roof. I'm thinking, oh my God, like what if it's an appendix, like a
Oh, at first.
appendix or something like that?
hmm
You can't sit on that. So,
Right.
Yeah, that's the story.
Sammy, question:
Yeah.
are you looking for anything particularly at Strongsville? Is there something, or are you just gonna see what jumps?
So I have a list. I haven't made a video on it yet because it's a little early. I'll do it once time gets closer, but it's Mathewson is what I'm aiming
Mhm.
for going forward. I made a deal with Garrett, Ballpark Memories. He found a card that I was surprised to hear that he found it, and I he said he like, at the time he found the card, but he didn't buy it. And then today today he bought the card, and I asked him, I said, how much would you like for it? And he told me how much, and I said, let's go, let's do it. And I'll put it this way because I don't want to spoil it. It's a I found a new project, a new card project to work on, but it's one of those projects that is not done immediately. It's going to take a lot of time, and I'm not in a rush to try to add on to it unless it happens to cross my path.
Nice.
It's
Now,
yeah.
is Garrett's not setting up. He's just going down and hang out with Billy Chappell, or
No, he's setting up.
he's setting up. Is he setting up
Yeah.
with William, or
No, he has his own tables. I'm really
nice?
excited for
That's
him.
great.
That's
I'm really, really
awesome.
excited for him. He's
Yep.
going to he's going to be on a live stream at some point. I don't know the date yet with on the Four Collectors channel. When the date gets closer, I'm doing a live stream with both him and Stan from Stan's Vintage Baseball
Yep.
Card.
Yep.
Um, we're going to do a live stream kind of highlighting both like kind of the veteran dealer and the
Yep.
newly established, like the new dealer on, coming in. And I think it's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great to kind of share perspectives from someone who's been in the business for a long time and
Mhm.
someone who's really just kind of stepping into it. And I'm really looking forward to that.
That would be awesome. It'd be good for him. I mean, he has some good quality stuff, and
Yeah.
you know what? This is a good stepping stone to get in these type of things for him.
Yeah, and I've always found Garrett to be really fair with
Hmm.
everybody. I mean, I've bought
Hmm.
from him a number of times, and he's not, he wants to help. I think he wants to help. I mean, obviously, listen, as a dealer, you got to
Yeah.
do what's right for yourself and got to make a little bit of money. But I think he understands, and I can't speak for him, but my perspective is that I think he understands the dare I say the collector's plight. But
Yes.
he understands that because he's a collector himself. He has stuff he keeps
Mhm.
for himself, and I think he's out there to do business to make money for himself, but also to be out there to help others. I think there's a feel good attitude for that for him.
Yeah, and he has a great disposition the way he carries himself too.
Yes.
So that's important. Also, the way he can communicate with all of us is very important.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to your reputation, and
Yes.
seems like he's doing very well. He was set up. I think he was set up this weekend at the show. Is it Shoshawana?
Yes.
He was set up there, and he helped me also make a deal with. He sent me a video of some cards that William Chappell had, and
Hmm.
I found a card that Chappell had, and I texted William. I texted Bill, and I made him an offer on this card, and I'm going to pick it up next week at the Philly show when I see him.
Nice. Nice.
It's a lot of so a lot of good things. Pretty much, I made a big sale this week, yesterday with when I was doing the road trip, or I guess the card show vlog trip with Brian.
Yes.
It was mostly for him, I would say, for Brian, because I mean I knew going in, I wasn't I probably, unless I found something miraculous, I was going to buy it, but it was more for an opportunity for Brian to kind of experience and see what the show is like, and I also brought him to all the shops that I frequent whenever I go up
Hmm.
there, and but the intention for me was to sell a bunch of cards that I was ready to move on from, and I had a bunch of graded stuff, and it was just you know, ready to move on. And a buddy of mine who does the Fishkill show, was willing to buy all of them. So we made a deal. And
Well, that worked out great then.
Great.
yes, yeah,
It was a
no,
bunch of the stuff that you've been showing in the last couple of weeks on your channel,
yeah.
Sammy. Oh,
So
that's awesome.
all the graded cards, the Aaron,
Yeah.
the Clemente,
Yes.
not this Seaver rookie, but I bought another Seaver rookie recently with the intention of finding a new home for it. So that one I sold the Seaver rookie, the Clemente rookie, the Aaron rookie, a couple of Bill Russell Fleer cards, 61s. It was a big sale. It was a good one. So
Good for you.
yeah, I was ready to move on and
Yep.
build funds for Strongsville and the National. But it seems like it's starting to deplete a little bit here and there with Garrett and Bill. And then Bill sends me a text message back saying, "Hey, Sammy, I got something else I want to show you, but I'll text you later and show you what it is." I'm like, "Ah, that's that sounds good."
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, Sammy. I mean, when you think
No,
about
no,
it, I mean, if you're getting something that you're actually really happy for, I mean, why not jump out and get it? I mean, why
no,
sit?
of course. That's the
You
Orlando
don't know
logic.
what's going to be at Strongsville for you. I
Exactly.
mean,
It's the logic that I actually probably going to talk a little bit about tonight on the For Collectors channel with Orlando and Scott from Stukes. Um, I wanted to bring those guys on together because they're the ones who are impeccable resources for unique
yes.
pieces that you want to learn more about, and you're having trouble doing Google searches on your own. So you need somebody like those two guys to fill in the gaps.
Hmm.
Exactly. So no, I had a gentleman I picked up back in January. I was working on this deal since last October, November. I did a video on it with my how the postal strike pushed everything back. But I picked up a 51 Tops team Brooklyn Dodgers team card and the 55 All American Jackie
Oh
card.
yeah, sure.
And I picked those two up from them. And obviously I've been holding standing pat. I was trying to save money, but they came available. So, and I did not have them. I got them for really reasonable prices. He since sent me a text probably a month ago that he knows another individual that has a card that I'm kind of after. It's the 48 Swell Sports Thrills. And it's something, if it's still available, if I don't pick up anything from Strongsville, I may reach back out to this guy if he still has it and pick this one up. And it's another five Gs. And again, I'm kind of holding off just a bit, just in case something's available in Strongsville. But if it's not there, I may reach out to this guy when I return back.
There's always open doors everywhere.
Mhm.
That's
And Dan, I definitely want to walk around with you for a while, my friend. Dan is I mean, I did the show with Dan a few weeks back, and it was just spectacular spending time with Dan. And we've not had the opportunity to really spend a lot of times at shows together. So absolutely, 100%, Dan. You and I, we will be walking around for a while. I just love to see what you're into, what you're getting. The stuff that you show, I mean, is just spectacular. So there's no doubt Dan and I will be hanging out.
Dan's the best. He's best friend material.
No doubt about that, Scott.
Yep. So, Sammy, you mentioned Shipshawana. That's another show that I've wanted to go to.
how far is it for you, Scott, to get there?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, it's amazing how all these shows are like Shriners, and I know Shriners is like right outside of Boston, but a lot of these shows are not in big cities.
Right.
Mhm.
So like Shoshawana is like in the kind of not middle of nowhere Indiana, but out like not in a major city. But what is the other? The one in Virginia that happens. Chantilly.
Chantilly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and even the Philly show, it's not in Philadelphia.
White Oaks.
It's in Oaks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy the
Oaks.
drive to get there because it's you pass by some pretty interesting places.
I'd also like to see the national show in Nashville.
Oh, the Nashville show.
Yeah.
Yes.
4 hours is what Craig is saying. So yeah, I'm sure we will see a lot of the animals. It's fine. Yeah. But yeah, it's been an interesting year, 2024, and then so far in 2025. Uh, I go to a lot of shows, even the smaller ones, like the one in Long Island last week that I went to, which is run by it's run by another channel behind the Diamond Sports Cards. Um, he John runs the show out in Babylon, Long Island. I went last week, and it was packed. Just so many people in there. It's nice to see, but I spent maybe 30, 45 minutes. It wasn't as strong vintage this time around. I've seen it really strong, but I ended up, like I mentioned in the video that I did, I ended up going to an antique mall, and what antique malls are great because you just never know. You really never know what you'll find. You'll either find, you know, junk or you'll find gems.
Well,
So
Sammy, so what I mean, when I hear everyone down south, I mean, you guys, the amount of shows and opportunities you guys have week in and week out,
yeah,
it comes across. I just find it amazing how much I'd be broke. I wouldn't be able to do much. I mean, maybe that's why when I get an opportunity, I buy some bigger cards because I've gone 2 or 3 months without being able to really see because there's not a lot from a baseball perspective up here for us.
right,
So,
right,
so when I see you guys with all the shows you guys go to every weekend and the
yeah.
antique, the flea markets, I mean, I, I don't know how you guys can do it and without
Not go
going
broke.
broke every weekend.
So listen, I mean, that's it's a good question. It's a good thing. It's a good topic because I think if you were to ask me that 2 or 3 years ago, I'd have a very difficult time. I'd be like a shiny red ball sort of
Yeah,
person. The ball bounces this way, especially at like a flea market or a show. Um, it becomes very difficult to try to maintain your budget, and that's a dangerous thing. Is if you don't have self control,
yeah.
you lose it, and you can really spiral out of control, and it's just not feasible. I'm not saying that's the reason why I streamlined myself down to 4 players or however, 4 players to collect. Although the side effect of that is very positive because I'm able to not go down that hole of jumping from this card to this card to this card to this card. And so I think part of that is, you know, maintaining self control, obviously, but I think it helps if you become. I mean, I don't know if this term is used is like the term of type collector. If you know, being so focused and streamlined on a certain player or players helps alleviate that concern.
Well, again, I know it is very difficult, and for yourself, Sammy, the stuff you've been picking up is just spectacular, incredible stuff. I know just from around here, I used to go to the odd little thing here and there, but I was finding myself going there and spending $50, $100 on stuff I just put in the box and I never see again. So I'm been trying to stop that for the most part, save my money, and hopefully pick up some of the stuff that I really truly do enjoy, which I've been doing as of late.
Yeah,
But I know up here it's simple to say, well, I'm not going. Whereas down like the shows you guys go to, I mean, I watch your videos all the time, Sammy, and I watch Orlando's Fort Lauderdale, and I see all this stuff. It's like, oh my God, I want that. I want that. And so it's different. It's easy for me not to really do anything up here, but down there, man, it's available. There's stuff that's of great interest. So you guys have to have a lot of self control because Boy, I could see going wild.
Especially, yeah. I mean, I think if you kind of have an open-ended preference in
Hmm.
what you want to collect, yeah, it's you have to exhibit a lot of it.
Yeah, I
Um,
think all three of us though are pretty um, focused. So
yes.
that definitely helps.
Yes, you're right, Scott.
I mean, Steven, do you? I know you're a big Jackie collector. Do you
Yes.
do you step outside of outside of any Jackie Robinson stuff?
I have for the most part it's really minor things, but I mean if picked up back in say October or November, I can't remember, at our Toronto Expo, I picked up, which I haven't shown yet, I picked up a 19, I think it was a 1934 Quaker Oats Babe Ruth pin.
Mm,
So I'll pick up minor things like that. But unless, I mean, I went to the Toronto Expo and I might have spent in November, I might have spent $400 or $500 or something like that. But it's because I was in the market looking for a couple Jackie stuff. But if it's not available, which they weren't, I don't spend much.
mhm.
And I'll be serious. When I go to Strongsville, if I don't get what I'm looking for because of that dollar thing, the exchange rate, I'll hold off till the next show I go to. And there's probably three jockeys I definitely want to get, but there's a bunch of other jockey stuff I have no problems picking up as like second, third tier stuff. So it's hard because to tell you the truth, I want to start a Dobie run. I've started picking up a couple Dobie stuff. I've been picking up some campy stuff. I would like to, but I don't want to start getting too deep into that because then I'll never finish the Jackie stuff. Yes, I seen that.
Mhm.
But those are the type of things I want to try to get into, Sammy,
Mhm.
and it's difficult because Jackie is expensive,
Yeah.
and to get the few cards, and I'm not like any like I don't want modern Jackie stuff, even though I mean outside of the 52 tops, the 48 swell sports thrills, and the 54 American Journal, New York American Journal. I mean, there's a bunch of other things, and I just mentioned about the Bond Bread sliding one of Jackie 55, 55. I mean, there's so much out there that's expensive, and I want them, but at what cost, right?
Right. Right.
So that's the thing about it, and I'm okay with that. You know what? It's something I've really taken on. I've read since Christmas. I've read. I'm on my second Jackie book.
Mm.
I've read. I finished this one after a month, and now I'm on to his autobiography one. So yeah, I mean, I'm into Jackie. I really appreciate everything, and it's amazing how much we don't truly understand. That you know what we all know a lot about it, but I just can't fathom what the gentleman went through. I mean, and that's not to make any light about the rest of them either. But it's very interesting, and it's I'm very humble at the fact that I got the opportunity that I can truly understand something that's of great history, great importance. So I really appreciate it.
It's funny. My wife is going. She's leaving. What is it, on Tuesday with the school that she works for. She is taking her students down south to Birmingham, New Orleans, Atlanta, and one of the stops is the Southern League Negro Museum, the Negro Southern League Museum in Birmingham. And
Hmm.
so It's the first time I've actually ever heard of it because I know the Negro League Museum in Kansas City, I think it
Yeah.
is.
Yes, it is.
But I didn't know about the one in Birmingham, and we watched a video of the founder of the museum, and it's absolutely remarkable. And you learn about all the different teams that played over periods of time, and um, there was a part that they talked about like Willie Mays being mentored by Piper Davis um, before Willie Mays went to the Giants, and she told me she's gonna bring her students there and stop in, and I became very jealous over that. But that's so cool. I mean, it's a really great opportunity to learn about a part of history that doesn't really have a whole lot of information on it.
Hmm.
And it seems like from what we discovered, the founder is a physician, like a medical doctor, who was a huge collector of like Negro League memorabilia from the time, like cards and maybe jerseys, balls, bats, and gloves and such. But yeah, Tony's saying it's the museum in Birmingham is at Rickwood Field, which yeah, that is the case, and they've done a phenomenal job at renovating the space and really like they put a restaurant in there and they put the museum. The photos that we saw, the amount of money that was put into it's astonishing. So for anyone that lives in that area, seems like it's worth a trip, and so I will report back once my wife tells me all about it. So,
Well, Sammy, someone said about maybe she needs a chaperone. You can go with them.
um, let's see what the eBay was saying, asking the missus if she needs a volunteer chaperone on the trip. She's going with a couple of other teachers and the students all together. So, um, yeah, I think it pretty much is going to be with for like a week and a half or so. Also jealous that she'll be in New Orleans because that's where I lived for about 4.5 years. I love New Orleans.
Nice, nice.
Not as big of a there is a card community down there. I think they have shows every now and then, but not like the Northeast.
Hmm.
Northeast is really the pinnacle of where all the shows. You look at you do a search on Google. There's a website that shows all of the shows that are happening throughout the year.
Hmm.
And it's the way they show it is not in a list, but a huge Google map. And
Yep.
you see
With
all
the
the little
dots.
pins are just like
Yeah.
a crap ton of pins are
Yeah.
pivoted over to the Northeast.
Yes. Yeah. And that goes back to what I mentioned. I mean, if I was in that area, I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be incredible to go and see. It's constant the stuff you see, and you had mentioned when the last Shriners. I mean, you've seen a lot of dealers or stuff that you generally don't see very often because they don't really travel that far south or west. So you're
Yeah.
getting to see a lot of stuff that's almost seems like it's underground, and it's
Mhm.
crazy. I mean, just some of
Underground.
some
They make it sound like it's like, it's like it's prohibition. And it's like a
oh,
speakeasy card show.
yeah, but it's just fabulous stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm watching and I'm seeing your videos and you guys talking about it. It's like, geez, I mean, Shriner seems like the next one to go to possibly.
Shriners was that was a unique one. Um, that one was fun because again, it's like you find dealers that you don't see anywhere
Hmm.
else. I remember going up to a table, and a guy had a bunch of the 50. You guys know how much I love the Coca-Cola tips. He had a
Hmm.
whole, didn't have the whole set, but he had a bunch of high grades of all the big star players. And I was like, I don't see these anywhere else except maybe Bill Chappell's table.
Yep.
That's it. But yeah, it's one of those things you never know what you're going to see. There's
Yep.
overlap. I mean, it's like if there was like a Venn diagram of dealers, there's in the middle of that Venn diagram, there's a bunch of the same dealers at these
Hmm.
shows, but then there's a lot of locals that you don't
Hmm.
see anywhere else.
Yep.
But So going back to I know we were talking about, Stephen being focused on Jackie Robinson. Scott, you generally are focused mostly on Indians and the Guardians,
Correct.
and but you're not, you enjoy both kind of like today's cards with the Guardians, and then going backwards towards the older cards as well.
I definitely slant towards vintage,
Yeah.
especially like 50s and before. But
Do you feel as though, I mean, it's to me, it seems like it's an exciting time to collect even some of the today's players, because the team is really, the Guardians are turning into a really a threat to become a contend. I mean, they are contenders. I mean, they were in the playoffs last year, but
Mhm.
I mean, players like Stephen Kwan, who are, I know he got hurt a little bit, but he's one of those players that like he has power. He can hit for home runs, but he's one of those guys. Like and this might not be the most fair comparison, but I always refer to Tony Gwynn, because Tony Gwynn was the guy that just knew how to make contact and knew how to put the bat to the ball.
right.
You've a little bit of that with Stephen Kwan.
Yeah, he's not quite Tony Gwynn yet,
No.
obviously, but like he is a lot of fun to watch, and he seems like a really good guy. And yeah, like, and he's not hard to collect because he's, in Cleveland.
Yeah. But as far, I mean, I think for you, I mean, I think when it comes to having that self control and being able to zero in on particular things and kind of avoid the maybe many possibilities and the open doors and the distractions, I feel as though you are somebody that kind of has that control intact.
I think so. Like I kind of pride myself on like not spending more than I should. Um, I'm not wealthy by any means, so that I have to be that way. But
Me too.
yeah, and it's kind of a relief not to like. I don't feel like I need a Mickey Mantle card, and I don't feel like I need Hank Aaron cards, and like I appreciate those guys, but I don't have to collect it.
Right. So, I mean, do you not have a Mickey Mantle in your collection, or do you?
I have one of the Aurora Vision records.
Cool.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I just have one Mickey Mantle card in my collection. I'm like, for me, that's enough. There's the people are saying like, how can you only have one? I'm like, well, I think I tell people, I say, well, for I think it's good to, for some of like those gigantic legendary players, it's good to have just one of their cards or one of their pieces of memorabilia, and you don't have to go out and go out and spend a crazy amount of money for one. I mean, I always refer to the 68 Topps game cards. I think they're a lot of fun, and those mantle cards you can get for definitely certainly like under $100, no problem. So looks like Mookie is the same way. Just one Mickey for me too.
It's probably got a hole in it.
I think it is. It's that Topps game. It actually, if that's what it is, somebody else bought it from me because I had it, and then they gifted it to Mookie. And it definitely had a pinhole, but yeah. So.
And I like to see that stuff go to the people who appreciate it too. Like I wouldn't appreciate a Mickey Mantle card. So like if Pepino Man gets a Mickey, like I'm like a lot happier for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Trevor. That's what I was thinking was Trevor bought it, shipped it to me with the pinhole. He didn't put the pinhole in it. The pinhole was already there. The 64 Topps Giants and game cards are so undervalued and underloved. Yeah. There's a lot of cards that are probably like that. Strong was going to be very busy. Took advantage of the early noon Friday entry for that reason. Yeah. Yeah. Friday definitely was less busy. Was definitely felt more manageable. Saturday
Mm-hmm.
was definitely, a lot going on. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
If it's too busy, you just leave and find somebody to go to lunch with.
just go to your nearest Applebee's, or no, go to Stenson's.
Swenson's, yep.
Swenson's, not Stenson's, Swenson's. Yeah.
Well, Friday for me was the big day. So Saturday, when I looked at it, it didn't seem that busy for me because I was just wandering around. I just talking to people, showing off the cards, and I thought so. From my perspective, Friday was a great day, and Saturday, I mean, it could have been as busy as it needed to be, and didn't really phased on me just for the fact that I wasn't so intent on looking for something at that time.
I don't think there was a happier person there than you, Stephen, at
Thank you.
Strongsville. Because I know this because you came up to me and you were like a kid. You have the biggest grin on your face, and how you said you just called your wife. You told
Yeah,
her you told her you bought this gigantic card, and she was so happy for you.
yeah,
And like that to me is like the perfect situation.
yeah.
It's
It turned out wonderful, Sammy. I mean, there were so many people I had the opportunity, and that's why Strongsville is so. It's my goat. It's so important to me because last year was an opportunity to finally meet so many people who are in the same into the same stuff I'm into. I mean, I don't know how simpler I can put that. We share a common such common ground in what we enjoy. And then it was so enjoyable showing people. I was so happy with what I was fortunate to be able to pick up, and again, seeing what everyone else was, just hearing their stories and how enjoyable how happy everyone seemed. You see the videos afterwards, and I don't know. I just I don't know if I'm overselling it or whatever, but it was just a spectacular time, and I really don't see it being any different this year. I think it's going to be possibly even better. And that can go without buying a card. Just seeing everyone. I'm telling you, for me, it's so important because I get to see everyone. You get to talk to everyone. It's a couple days of like you're a kid and you're gone to the amusement park. Or the old days when we used to go to the ice rink all day and play hockey till the lights come on, then we go home. I mean, this is what this is like for me. It really is. I'm actually a kid. I don't have to worry about responsibilities. I don't have to worry about work or this or that. It's 2 days of pure enjoyment. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am. There's so many people I haven't seen yet either. I mean, there's a lot of people in the chat, like Tony from Southern Collector. I mean, the stuff that I've seen him show this year, and as much as it's dynamite, it's going to be wonderful meeting the man. I mean, that's how important this is. You get to see guys I met last year, guys I met at the national, guys I've met a few years ago. I mean, I met Scott at Strongsville in 2023, and a month later we saw each other again in Pittsburgh. I mean,
Yep.
and we hung out a little bit, and I walked around with the Pittsburgh show. I mean, I remember looking at a Scraps tobacco card and ready to pull the trigger, and the guy wouldn't budge. And Scott says, they'll be around again. I'm not sure if you remember that, Scott.
Yeah, I remember that.
But
And then you bought the Yogi Berra, didn't you?
yes, I bought a Yogi. I bought a Jackie 1950 Bowman, and I bought a couple other things there.
Did you
So,
buy the
yeah.
mantle exhibit, or was that?
No, that was someone
was
else.
Mike?
Yes.
That might have been Mike.
Wait. I did buy the mantle exhibit.
Okay.
You're right. That's one of the 4 mantles I have. Holy shit. Great memory, Scott. But yeah, we had a great time just in Pittsburgh. And that all started from meeting in Strongsville.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I'm looking so forward to meeting obviously the friends I've made, and now the new ones. And it's just going to be a good time. I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to have a smile on my face seeing everyone.
All I'm going to ask is just if anybody needs to know what time it is at the show, ask me because I will have the Willie Mays watch.
Nice.
Did you get it working?
Not yet, but
Okay.
I plan
Not
on getting it working before going out there. It's going to be part of I'm going to wear the Wheaties Mays shirt, which by the way, I've told you many times, that shirt gets so many people love that shirt.
That's awesome.
And I always say, you have to look up Reindeer Studios on Etsy. They're like, I'll do that. So, absolutely. All right, we've been on.
Sammy's always pimping me out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Somebody's got to do it, man. It's dirty work, but it's got to be done.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, Mike is asking. I was going to finish it up here, but Mike's asking a question here. Are you an Orioles? Orioles. O's
Yes,
fan,
I am.
How you become one?
Yes, huge Orioles fan. I've been an Orioles fan since the '60s. Obviously, back when Brooks and Frank Robinson, when they won the '66 World Series. Ever since then, I've been an Orioles fan. I've collected. I have almost a whole run of Oriole cards from the '54. Bowman and Topps up into 77, and a huge Cal Ripken guy. I got almost everything of him I need to get. And yeah, I'm diehard Orioles fan and always will be. And it's probably the out of all the sports, even being a big hockey guy, probably the most important team that I root for is the Baltimore Orioles. So, yeah, I love the Orioles, and a little disappointed this year that they didn't really pick up much over the offseason. I thought they were in the hunt for a few guys, and not very happy with because this year, I believe, is a big opportunity for them. They need to get that pitching staff in order. Maybe they're waiting for some of the ones to come back that got injured last year. I'm not sure, but was hoping they pick up one or two big guys, and just didn't seem they did anything. So I think pitching is going to be their nemesis again this year. So
We'll see what happens.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for jumping on.
Sammy, thank you.
Just stick around after we go offline. I want to show you guys something. I need to get
I love that.
opinion on something.
All right.
Okay.
I will see everybody in a little bit because I'm doing another live stream.
Yeah.
I'm warming up the arm for tonight, even though the arm has not pitched in years. So
That's
tonight
okay.
at 9 p.m. for collectors with Orlando and Scott from Stukes. And I think at 8 o'clock tonight, Alex is doing the card room. So that's something to look forward to. But,
Absolutely.
I'll see you guys later. Take care, everybody.
See you, everyone.